Raise your hand if you're a proud owner of no game keycards. Oh yes, that's right, all the homies hate the game keycards. Now ladies and gentlemen, Nintendo has been fully taking off their mask to their final true villain form. You own nothing and you will pay us for the privilege, said Nintendo. And listen, I gotta tell you, I love it. There's nothing that brings me more joy than seeing Nintendo scam their stupid Nintendrones. But this today, the audacity of what I'm seeing is biblical. Speaking of biblical, the game keycards are the Antichrist. Hit the like button and subscribe, baby. Let's get to 90,000. Now, I knew Nintendo hated their customers, but they hate them this much? I mean, even me, I'm standing back thinking, isn't that a little bit too far? Because this is just sad. The Nintendo fanboys swore that they would never make first-party game keycards, yet here we are. The biggest IP in the world, and they're already gimping and cheaping out. But you and me already knew what kind of scum Nintendo are, but this is even a new level of cheap for them. Pokémon is the most profitable franchise of all time, but yet they can't afford to put data on a cartridge. Let that sink in. There are indie developers who have less than 1,000th of their budget who can make that happen. But no, not for Nintendo. This new Pokemon game called Poco Bar, wait, hold on a second, I mean Poco PR, is 10 gig. 10 gig, that's less than my girlfriend's nudes. Whoa, wait a second. Oh, I didn't mean to say that. Now, it's not even like PokePR would require a special cartridge. It's a stupid low-res Pokemon game that, you know, maybe 12 people made. Remember, if Cyberpunk doesn't need a game key card, then nothing should. Anyway, so Nintendo released an instructional video on how to use game key cards for the new Pokemon game a few days ago. Actually, it was less than a day ago, and I was like, wow, how nice of Nintendo to show us how not to buy video games. But then again, it's very funny to see, you know, a company do the objectively wrong thing every single time, and this time how to purchase a quote physical game. Do they really think that people don't understand what game keycards are? Yeah, we understand what they are, Nintendo, we just don't want them. So anyway, I was watching this instructional video and the voiceover person had the balls to say game keycards don't contain any game data. He said that in the most smug way possible. Oh, he said that very proudly and foolishly. Think about how disgusting that might be to hear, and yet they still post it anyway. Because listen, the entire point of digital is the convenience. So why the would we now do this with a physical game keycard? So if there's a digital of a game, it's better to just buy the game off the eShop if that's what you're gonna do. And ladies and gents, I'm here to tell you there is zero chance that I will ever spend money on a game keycard. Because like I said, it's the worst of both worlds. All the problems that you get with digital games, but you also get the inconvenience of a physical game. That's classic Nintendo for you right there, going backwards. So yeah, it lacks the convenience of a digital game where you install the game on your system and play it without needing to switch game cartridges. That's possibly the best reason to buy a digital game, and it lacks the simplicity of the traditional cartridges that are just plug and play. What the was the point of this? You know what? I miss the old days when, you know, you could just put in a game in the system and it's there instantly. Ready to play, no internet required, no code entering required, no signing in to EA Play. But like I said, the next Pokemon game being on a game keycard is absolutely pathetic. Treat it like a lit firework in your hand. Throw that shit the away. Because this is actually inexcusable. Pokemon is one of the biggest IPs, like I said. So Nintendo is acting like this isn't the worst option in every way possible. Now, even Nintendo's next Pokemon game will be on a game key card. Remember, no content on the card whatsoever, but yet you're still going to have to charge $70 for people to play it. Anyway, look, since the launch of the Nintendo Switch 2 in June, players have been pretty miffed. Miffed, that's a funny word, to discover the physical versions of many games that don't actually contain the game at all. Instead, their so-called game keycards, essentially a phony game card that only contains instruction to download the game from Nintendo servers. Now let's take a step back. Imagine for a moment that I don't have internet access. I live in the middle of nowhere, or a thunderstorm hits my neck of the woods and cuts my internet the hell out. I, for some reason, have to wait until my internet comes back on, like who knows when that will be, to finish downloading the game that I already bought for $70 to actually play it. I would be That's not nice, Nintendo, because that cartridge is useless. There is zero benefit to it whatsoever. It's not a real physical format. Anyway, until now, it's something that only affected third-party titles, albeit some very big-name games. But now with March 5th, 2026, Pokémon Pokopia, the phenomenon, will seemingly affect a Nintendo-published game for the first time. Remember when Nintendo said that would never happen? Back in May 2025, they said, we currently have no plans to use game keycards for Nintendo's developed titles, and now, fast forward, not even a year, it's a bait and switch with, yeah, we fooled you into buying the Switch too. Now you're gonna have to buy even more storage. Whoop-de do. Anyway, while this isn't fully confirmed, it's all but certain after Nintendo simultaneously announced a March 5 release date for the recently revealed Animal Crossing-like Pokemon Pokopia, and a video explaining how game keycards work that use Pokopia as an example. Game keycards have caused a huge amount of consternation among those who want to be able to simply buy and own a game, knowing it will be theirs and available to be played forever. For reasons no one but Nintendo seems to know, the Switch 2 only offers 64 gig carts to publishers for their games to ship on, with the price, according to Digital Foundry, set at $23 a piece, and this right here is absolutely disgusting. We'll get to the publisher thing in a second, but remember, the Switch 2 doesn't have much storage by today's standards, so expecting users to keep buying additional SD cards just raises the overall cost of owning the game, and thus you're pushing the storage burden on the player. In effect, it's a hidden price increase for games. Anyway, this far bigger than most people need and obliterates profit, so with Nintendo offering no other option, publishers are naturally picking the only other option, the fake carts. In other cases like Star Wars Outlaws, it's about transfer speeds from the cart to the system without installing the Switch 2's SSD. However, it remains a massive disappointment that now even Nintendo is using this preservation destroying option for first-party titles. And like I said, they claim that this is something they wouldn't do, but rug pull, you already bought the Switch 2, it's too late. Now, the day the servers are switched off, which we know will be far from too soon, none of these carts will do a single thing, and the game you bought will be lost forever. And remember, this is Kotaku saying this. The only thing they care about is the access media. They don't care about the consumers, so if they're saying this, you know it's getting pretty bad. Now, Nintendo doesn't care because they know people will keep giving them money. I've never said that the Switch 2 wouldn't sell. I've always said that console would do very well because there are legions, millions of these man-children who care more about what Nintendo schlop they can get next than their actual consumer rights. It doesn't matter what toxic anti-consumer thing Nintendo does, the average normie isn't paying attention to any of that. They just see, oh wow, Nintendo released a new thing, I'm buying that day one. The fans will continue to buy whatever Nintendo gives them despite anybody else complaining. There is no integrity or self-respect or self-control. So whenever I see people bragging about the sales of the Switch 2, oh my god, look how many sales Nintendo has. Think about how pathetic that sounds. You are bragging about $1 billion company making money. You know what you sound like? You sound like a fanboy. And on that bombshell, Nintendo's tone-deaf behavior will continue to be covered on this channel because I think it's hilarious. But on the flip side, what I don't think is hilarious is this greedy industry trying to push an all-digital and streaming future. That's something I really don't like. They are cutting costs whenever possible. Anyway, Manix out.